playing? D4, knight f6. C4, e6. Oh, bishop g5, early.
3 bishop g5, and it had some point, I think.
Well, just to avoid any terror. Get your opponent out of book.
H6 is the move, I think, yeah.
To h4. So now after check, you will have to go knight c3, right? Knight d2.
is the idea,
Wait a second, isn't it like g5, bishop g3, knight e4, knight f3, g4? Ah, and then you attack the knight somehow. Remember, there was a way to lose in this line very fast. I mean, if it was white.
There was, yeah.
Okay, but anyway, now we are back to something like very solid. The knight's on d2, otherwise it would have been some...
A normal queen.
Yeah, but white got a tempo, because
White got
white
the
gave
tempo,
a bishop
right. So it's Laska variation, except that white is a tempo up, except that his knight is on d2.
Yes.
It's a lot of changes, yeah. The knight might not be too bad on d2. c5, and how do we react to c5 in these cases? Just by not reacting, I guess. Because now...
Probably white's just gonna castle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. E6. So you could take on d5. Oh, he did.
Yeah. Takes on d5, I guess knight d5 in this case, right?
Yep.
Then in...
Maybe bishop g3.
yeah, I wanted to say that bishop g3 is usually what they do to keep more pieces on the board.
Yeah, trading the bishops would help black develop their queen, and we have bishop b7.
Okay, if we're perfectly honest, it doesn't look like Grischuk is getting much, if anything at all.
Yeah, black has managed to put all of his pieces on decent squares. You could try to kick the knight with e4, but then he goes back to f6.
Yeah, and interestingly, the only time where it really matters where the knight is on d2 or c3, like e4 with the knight on c3 would be impossible, right? Because knight c3, here e4 was possible, but he decided against it.
So he played knight c4, trying to go for knight d6, and Ediz played knight f6. There was a trade on c5, and...
It's absolutely symmetrical. Wow, and knight a5, tricky Sasha.
And I have the games.
Knight a5 means...
Is he going to get the bishop here from that move? Yeah, that's a very nice little tactic. Overload on the b pawn.
Right, you'll have to take, yeah.
Okay, but then there's knight e4 coming,
Knight e4
right?
coming.
So black's position doesn't look too bad. His queen can get to the b6 square. And then
Yeah, now you get a b6 square, right?
Yeah, so actually those doubled a pawns are not such a big problem.
Maybe help him in a way, because usually it is a problem with the queen, right? So,
Okay, in long run it might make some difference. Yeah, queen b6. Example, do we trade queens with queen
Yeah,
d4
I think he's got a very comfortable position there as black.
Yes, very solid.
yeah, like queen d4 trying to get access to c5, but then black just sits and waits. Yeah, he doesn't take himself. He plays some rook c8 or quite solid, I have to say.
And I think he needs to play queen d4 because otherwise the queen on b6 is such a nice piece.
Yeah, like going b3 is ugly. Queen d4, right? Rook d8. Rook introduces some tricks, right? Wow, we have a different position now.
So what did black just do after a3? Rook a8.
Rook a8. Yes, rook's in the center. Now,
Super solid for black.
solid. Yeah, that's impressive because like when these young players they play something sharp, attacking, that's what you expect. Yeah, we say brilliant, but he is also capable of, playing
Yeah, he
something very classic.
faced something kind of unexpected in the opening, but I think reacted very reasonably. And traded the rooks and went bishop to d3. So black has a pretty big choice here, but he's just trying to stop rook c2 with that move.
Right. So now, if black goes knight f6, it has kind of the two objectives.
You wanna take
control
an
F3. Well, maybe not so much because it's HG already. Maybe I'm not.
Yes, but opening
Here
up.
it is the main idea to force it to trade on B6 and then say, okay, now is everything symmetrical? Why on earth I'm worse?
He's up on the clock by about half
Also,
a
the
minute.
bishop on B7 is opened up.
Right. Queen takes B6, played by Grischuk, and knight to D4. King F8, no hesitation, just bringing the king in the center. And it's hard to, hard to pinpoint what is the factor which is in white's favor, right? I mean, black has perfect structure, his king is closer to the center, if anyone's.
Some G6, E5 construction is also possible from black side.
Knight
Okay, he
D7,
goes knight
then
D7.
knight goes to
C5 or E5.
E5 or E5. Yeah, he goes to E5.
Yeah, and eyeing the C4 square.
Bishop B5. And it's not that easy to kick this knight away from E5 because knight G4, right? It's the fact that you have doubled pawns. F5. F5 is something not necessarily wrong, but
Okay, he wanted to stop any kind of E4, shutting down his bishop. He needs to watch out for bishop D5, knight takes F5 trick. That's one of the tactics in the position. And the bishop would be hanging.
now it feels like, well, F4 is F4 a move. I mean, I know it's ugly, but I have a
King D2.
King D2.
Desperate attempt to trade the rooks.
One.
Okay, but this is
Sasha is not better at all.
not at all, and he's down to 17 seconds. It's slightly worse.
Sorry, is he just getting outplayed? Yeah?
Could easily be.
Bishop C3.
B3.
B3.
He needs to be precise to...
B3 to control C4, right.
Yes.
Bishop
Takes.
takes, knight takes, where the knight's going.
Okay, now the king needs to run back to C3 or to E2.
Yeah.
So on knight D3 check, there's king D2, and you don't
Knight
get
E3
D1.
check, king D2, and
Oh, he went back to
C5.
C5. Okay, king C3 or no,
E4.
But this is strange. This maneuver was strange. He
Yeah,
just
like-
lost a couple of tempi for nothing.
Wound
Right.
up with his knight like more
His
passive.
knight was on E5 and he would have played knight D7 immediately.
Okay, well, this game looks like it's gonna end in a draw.
Well, the game is just getting started. Sasha has 9 seconds. If we have already stick to it all the way. G5, knight C3.
And I think G5 might have been a bit of a mistake because now knight E5, king D4, knight C6, king C4, and you no longer have checks. So he could have gone knight E5, knight C6 with those checks.
E5, F4 check. King D6, E4.
E4.
Worse against Zemlyansky. He's down a pawn in the endgame. I don't know if he can hold that.
Wow.
And okay, Mamedyarov should win with his extra pawn.
He plays against the very young boy, no? I think yes, against Sojdiev.
Yeah, he's playing Shakjiev, yeah.
Yes. And Grischuk suddenly putting pressure and Gurel is on the clock as well.
So king D4, knight G6. What's happening? Is Alexander repeating?
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna...
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, it shows that he was relieved that it's over.
Okay, it looks like Svidler is holding on for a draw. And Mamedyarov is winning, so where can we go? We can go to Samata versus Ansat in that match. That is their fourth board. But it looks like it's all